One of the most fundamental movements that you're going to do with body weight training outdoors is a step up. Now there's literally hundreds of variations that you can go through, and it's important to remember that when you're outside and you just have your body, you don't have the luxury of just adding weight to make something harder. So you usually have to tweak a couple of variables like timing, plyometrics, height of the object, or speed that you're going to do it at. So let's start with the basic step up, okay? So working the glutes, the hamstrings, and we want you to teach people how to integrate their core with their lower half, because that's everything, right? So foot up on the step, this is a perfect height. Knee height for people, like a bench height. Anything, this is a ledge. You could use a bench, a flower pot, really anything that looks like this. This is a perfect height. So foot up on the step. Engage the core, which is this and this. Drive up, step the foot on. Come down slowly, make sure the work is not in the knee and it's back in the butt. Again, this is the basic step up move. Everyone should be able to do this, barring any injuries. How you would make it harder, next level, is same motion, but boom, add the balance component. You make them hold that position, it's a lot harder, right? Come down slowly, boom. So balance, whoa, try to balance, and then down slowly. I mean, the teacher has to know how to do it, right? Okay. The next object, let's add a plyometric to this basic move to make it a little bit harder. So, jump, get some air between the foot, and then land back. So you're on top of these people, you're running around and making sure that their form is correct and accurate on every rep. And if it's not, you pull them off and you regress them one level down. Okay? So those are the basic three in this plane of motion. The next thing you can do to make something harder is what we call in the Pursuit program a compound combination or compound combo. So a compound move is something where you're using multiple body parts all at the same time, and the combination is basically just you're adding multiple moves onto that one move. So you're sort of stacking it or layering it. So how that would work with the basic step up, so we're back down to level one, is step up, down, add a reverse lunge. Step up, drive through the glutes, back down, add the reverse lunge with that same leg, okay? That is one option. You as a trainer should know and have an idea, a sort of catalog in your brain of 30 different compound combinations you could add with a step up. And just off the top of my head as we're doing this, step up, down, runner's lunge. Step up, down, pop back into a push-up. Okay, that's two. I mean, there's so many that you can do. So I want you to start thinking in those terms, that how you can make something harder with just a little bit more effort, because we're not pounding these people into the ground with thousands and thousands of repetitions. The next move within the step up family is lateral step up. So we're changing the plane of motion, moving to the side. So get that foot up there, make sure it's a stable surface. This one's not, so I may fall, but whatever. Drive up through the glutes. Get there, stick it. I don't care how fast they want to go. You better make them hold it and prove that they can hold that position first before they progress to speed. Down slowly, knees out, just like a good squat. That knee's going to want to fall in. That's one of the common compensations. Drive up, stick it, hold it, and then down. Okay, that's that first lateral step up. The next move that you can do on a ledge or a step or a bench is what's commonly known in the fitness industry as a box jump. So the basic ground level move of the box jump looks like this. It's a plyometric move. So the cue is sit back into the squat, okay? Abs tight, butt tight. Drive with your arms up, land in a good squat. Hips draw straight back so that the shearing force doesn't come forward in those knees. Most people are gonna wanna dive in, you keep them out. Stay in that squat, come up, step down. We're dealing with an older population. We do not have the elasticity in our calves to be jumping that high off of that step. So no matter what, I always have people step down. I think it's really important. Unless you're dealing with kids, then you can have them jump down. All right, so again, the box jump. Sit back into it, arms back. You want to teach them functional. Functional is using their arms like jumpers do. That's where that power comes from. Sit back into it, explode. Land, catch themselves, stand up. Okay. A regressed version of this, because if you're come upon, a ledge that's maybe a little too high for most of the group, some of them will do it. Here's how you can regress the box jump. you have them do like a 1-2 until they get comfortable. Sometimes that's what people need, just to see that their body can do it. So it looks like this. 1-2. So it's like halfway between a step up and a box jump. 1-2. Okay, till they get comfortable with the height and the power to get up there. Now, how do you make this harder? Jump higher, land, and don't come up. So here's how it's gonna go. You're back here, land, don't come up, you stay in there. So I kind of did like a little tuck jump with this. This is one of the most aggressive versions of the box jump. It's precision, it's not speed. Come right back down. So it forces them to hold that position, integrate their core with their glutes and their legs, feel what it feels like, and then come out of it. Now, the next version of a box jump, what you can do is a lateral box jump. A little more skill, a little more aggressive. This rock pattern here may not be the best, but I'm gonna try it for you. So this is what it looks like. Face that way, get the arms ready, explode laterally. Hold that position. First level is just to come up. Then you step down. Make sure they step down with the squat. Every piece of every move is important, all right? Do it again, laterally. Hold it, come up. Now, just like before, the progression of that is to stay in that squat, to jump higher. Stay there, come down. Now, what if they can't do that? Send them home. No, I'm just kidding. What they can do is a 1-2 step, same way as before. You're here, 1-2. Down. Save these people's knees, do as much as you can to save them. They'll be your clients for life. You bang their knees into the ground, bang their knees into that shearing force, they're done. They're out of your class in the first week. All right, so those are the box jumps, laterally, front, and really what's next, guys? You should know this. It's now to add a layer to make it a compound combination. So let's play around with one. I'll give you one, and then for homework, you're gonna make one up for me. So it's a lateral box jump. Get there, step down, lateral lunge. Ooh, lots of lateral motion today. Guess what most of your clients are missing in their lives? Lateral motion. Down, lateral lunge. So that's it. I want you to, right now, take a pen and piece of paper, write down one option of that. You can come up with a compound combo of your own. Next move that is possible with a ledge, a flower pot, a bench, is a Renegade Row. So in the gym, what are you doing? You're using dumbbells, kettlebells, that's where it originated. But on a ledge like this, how you can tweak it is get your feet up, okay? This is how you get people in the position of going inverted if they're not used to it. Get them in there, 1 foot up, hands on the ground, hips up high, place the other foot up. Hips up high so that their back doesn't sag down and crank all that pressure into their lumbar spine. So you're up there. First, talk about the importance of where your shoulders are at. I typically have people drop all the way down, drive all the way up, and then find that midpoint. That's gonna be the most congruent, stable place of your shoulder girdle. So the Renegade Row, transfer the weight into the one side, drive the elbow up and back down. Drive it up and back down. I would like you to start people with bent knees. It gives them a little more communication between everything, 1, 2, 3 right here. Because that's what we're not that. That's what we're trying to get, all three of these things to be talking to each other. So none of this is the common compensation for Renegade Rows. This is a pelvic stability exercise. If you do this slow enough and you do this pretty enough, you're gonna feel it. So, how do you get people out of here? Step down, push up into a squat. That saves what? Their knees. Okay, how do we regress that? So let's think of where our feet were. Feet are high. That's the option. Bring your feet down to the ground. That's the regression is here, same thing. Knees slightly bent, drive, drive. How do we regress that even further? Bend the knees, bend forward so you're on the quads and not your patellas. Row from there. So in terms of regressing things, keep in mind that if you're doing a timed exercise for like 40, 45 seconds, it's not enough to just it may not be enough to have the person just do the same version of the exercise the entire time. They're allowed to play a little bit. Try a couple of reps of the harder one, and if they're getting tired so they don't get injured or they don't just stop altogether, you have them drop down a level. So always sort of provide that next step. Not as a consolation like, oh, if you can't do it, do this, No, once this happens, then you do that. That's how you get the most out of people, and you push their strength and their skill level higher and higher each time. So Renegade Rows, we did the basic, the regressions, 2 of them. Then the next one would be a progression up from there. Now, I would have them do straight legs. It requires a lot more stability, and the wider the feet, the easier it is, the more stability you have. So a progression even further would be feet together. I cannot do that. I am not that strong. So my body shakes back and forth, but that's what I'm working towards. That's how I'm trying to progress my skill level. And this is something you want to incorporate, keep incorporating into the language of how you speak to these pursuit clients. So what's next? It's the compound combinations. This is one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna give you 2. Let's give you 2, right? So it is what I call an inverted box jump. Okay, it's an inverted box jump. Think about what a box jump is. This is, so let's say 4 rows, boom, boom, perfect form, the highest level that I can achieve with good form, followed by, boom, back up. What was that? Row, 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 row. Here it is. It's down, drop the knees almost to the floor, pause, squeeze your core, pop back up. All right, that's one combo for you. Second one, get them back into the row. 4 rows, drop down into a loaded beast. You'll see later in one of the group exercises that I have the clients doing that. 2, down. All right, so those are the 2 combination combos that I came up with. Right now, you try one. I want you to start building your library of exercises that you can use and apply at any moment, no matter what you come across, so that you're not SOL. Hope you know what that means. 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 The bench, not the bench press, not the one you find in the gym, the basic park bench. It is the god of all gods of outdoor exercise. Let's start with the basic move. Hands right underneath the shoulders, chest to bar, feet wide. That's the basic push-up outside. Down, push it up. Make sure you come to full extension of your elbows, full extension of your shoulder girdle, so you activate all that musculature in there. Now the progression from there is feet together. Base of support, we take away a little bit of it, forces the core musculature to work that much more harder, and the rest of the musculature to work that much harder. Let's take a step back here, because the push-up is not just a push-up. It is a foundational, fundamental, superior exercise. So when you cue people into this, cue them into not just crank away at those reps. Integrate your core, squeeze your quads, glutes tight. Feel what that does to your back muscles when you extend up there. Because guess what? Their back muscles are underused just like their glutes are underused. So you want to cue those things happening on each rep, right? Cue them into, get them focused in the present moment about what their body's feeling. You know, beyond the burn that there's going across their shoulders and their chest. So that's the push-ups on the seat. It's basic. The next version, the regression from there is up on the back of the seat height. So if you have this type of bench, it's great. Because people that have trouble there, they go up here. Make them master this position, feet wide first, feet narrow second. Make them master that there before they move down to here. So if you see them struggling, you pop them up top. It really helps, again, in terms of teaching techniques, is to tell people before it happens, look, when you run out of steam, you go to this next level. Or if you need to make it harder, we go to this next level. So you're always shooting people between the two and never keeping them stationary, because once they're stationary with one move, can't do it anymore, they don't do it anymore and they stop. They stop learning, their body stops learning and getting that vital input. So this is the regression up top here. The progression, what do? Push up on the floor, right? Push up on the ground. Going against more gravity, it's gonna be harder. Same form. Now, what's an even further progression from there? You asked, I'm so happy you asked. It's feet up on the bench, hands on the floor. So we have that incline action happening. So hands right underneath the shoulders. Toes, I like to lock it in. These New York City park benches have these like slats in them, so you can sort of lock your toes in there. Drive down, push up. I can tell people keep your neck neutral. Imagine you're kissing the floor with your forehead. Now, a mini regression of this is a handstand push-up. So you drive back like an L, you make your body look like an L, and you drive your head between your hands. So my hamstrings are super tight, so I can't get into that L position too well, but I'm doing my best. right? And that's what it's all about. So that's just a different option. You know, you play around a little bit. That's a really great one. People love that one because it feels really good on the shoulder. It's more shoulder dominant versus chest dominant. And those are the three, the basic moves where you're gonna play around in the push-up. Now, what can we do to make this harder, okay? We can change our base of support. How do we do that? We can do it with the legs, or we can do it with the hands. So I'm gonna run through a couple of them just to show you what's out there, what's optional for you. Let's assume we're here at this level. On the seat of the bench, you are touching New York City butts while you do this. It's disgusting. All right, you're gonna go down into the push-up. Let's change the base of support by lifting the hand. So that's basic. They have to know what that feels like. Transfer the weight into that one side. So it's like a Renegade Row. Second one, reach forward. So we're changing the plane of motion that the arm is traveling through. Okay, so think of it in terms of that. Plane of motion that the arm travels through. Third one, transverse plane, rotation. What that does is a beautiful action on my shoulder girdle and my rotator cuff that is really unparalleled with any other exercise that you can do. Most people try, external rotation, internal rotation with those bands all day. The shoulder is a rotational dominant joint. So you want a cue rotation in a closed chain manner. So that's what this is doing by adding that rotation. And guess what it's lighting up too? Core, of course. All right, so that's changing the base of support through our hands. Now, of course, we can do the same thing through our legs. Guys, and anytime we do this, anytime we change that base of support, like I keep talking about, you're going to ask the rest of your body to work harder. I mean, isn't that what it's all about? Because here outdoors, again, we can't add weights. We don't have the luxury of doing that. We have to find the ways to make it harder in a shorter amount of time by manipulating what our body does in space. Isn't it beautiful? It's like poetic. So here's the next one. Sorry, I thought that was a cup. This is all stealth, by the way. We're not supposed to be here in this park. The next move to do is to change the base of support through your feet. I'm gonna run you through a couple. Now, I'm in this push-up position, drive down, pop up, drive my knee forward, diagonal. Okay, again, down, diagonal. What else could we do? Let's go lateral. Down, drive it laterally on the outside. My obliques are on fire. Outside, hit it. Okay, what else is there? Let's really get the transverse plane working by pushing up, rotating through. Lightly tap the heel, down, other side. Boom. So, push-up is not just a push-up. There's so many layers that you can add. I just showed you 3 from the upper, 3 from the lower. Let's see what else you guys can come up with. Oh, by the way, listen, so I almost forgot. There's a whole nother progression series for the push-ups to make it that much harder. So it's a full progression of the progression, right? So anything we did here on the hands, moving the hands and moving the feet, you can do inverted. So we're talking about this in the realm of push-ups, right? How you can add on to the push-ups. But if you want to just take a brief caveat for a second, you can just call that a core exercise. Take out the push-ups and just have people be moving in these patterns, and it's going to light this up and probably allow them to stay in that position longer because they're not dead from here down. All right, so let's just show you quickly what it is. Those 3 of the arm motions. Feet wide to start. It's the most aggressive position, core tight, butt high. No butts low, no cranking of the lumbar spine. So core engaged, quads engaged, everything. So we have reach across, dot, 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 with little to no motion of the pelvis, right? You're not allowed to do this unless you can do it with good form. Next one, reach under. Ooh, see my shoulder light up? Reach under, boom. And the third one was reach across, reach across. It looks different because I'm down here. Now, the legs, baby, the legs is where it really comes into play, becomes one of my favorite exercises, really. So, really quick, diagonal, diagonal, outside, outside. And then the third one was swing it through, hello core, swing it through, bring it back. Okay, this is probably the perfect time to talk about, you see my shoulders and veins popping out. It's not because I'm a meathead, I do lift weights, but In terms of this body weight stuff, there's nothing that can challenge your core and your upper body musculature and your lower body musculature at the same time like this aggressive body weight stuff. So the perfect example is take a look at a gymnast. Their bodies look like they're carved out of stone. You can see every little line. It's not because they're throwing around heavy weights in the gym. They're doing this kind of stuff and challenging themselves through space in these planes of motion like we're talking about. So I want you to remember that and how important that is. My shoulders feel good right now. My spine feels good. I'm at home with a loaded down spine, cranked up neck. Can't walk the next day. It's a totally separate mindset. So I hope you guys are buying into that.